There are places where history lies buried beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered, and there are objects that should have remained hidden. This is the story of a professor, an accidental discovery, and a whistle that was never meant to be blown. The discovery. The sun hung low in the sky, casting an orange glow over the mountainous landscape. The archaeological dig site was a chaotic blend of tools and tarps, remnants of an ambitious excavation. Snow-capped peaks loomed in the distance, their majesty contrasting with the eerie quiet of the site. Professor Carter, in his 40s, stood with a calm but curious demeanor, surveying the area. He had dedicated his life to uncovering the past, but today something felt different. Strange. "I've never seen anything like this," he murmured, his voice barely breaking the silence. As the sound of a shovel striking something solid echoed through the stillness, Carter paused. He dug deeper, scraping the earth away carefully. Suddenly, a small object emerged from the soil. His heart raced as he lifted it, revealing a whistle, but not like the ones used by the local indigenous tribes. "What is it, Professor?" Jackson, a bright-eyed student in his 20s, asked, peering over Carter's shoulder. "It appears to be a whistle," Carter replied, turning the object over in his hands. It was cold to the touch, and strange engravings covered its surface, symbols he couldn't decipher. "Should we try it?" Jackson suggested, his excitement overshadowing a hint of caution. The wind picked up, rustling the trees around them. Carter, with a mix of apprehension and intrigue, raised the whistle to his lips and blew. But no sound emerged. It didn't make a sound. "Or did it?" Jackson asked, unease creeping into his voice. A brief silence enveloped them until, in the distance, the faint sound of branches breaking could be heard. First signs, night descended upon the mountains, wrapping the camp in darkness. Inside Carter's tent, a flickering lantern cast shadows that danced against the canvas walls. Outside, the trees swayed more than usual, as if whispering secrets to one another. A low whistle, barely perceptible, drifted through the air, stirring Carter from his sleep. He murmured, "Jackson, is that you?" Silence followed, thickening the atmosphere. Then the sound of footsteps dragging over the gravel broke the stillness. Something was moving outside the tent. "Hello?" Carter called out, his voice wavering. Peeking outside with his lantern, he found nothing but shadows. Just as he turned to retreat, a whistle echoed back to him, identical to the one he had blown earlier, but it carried a hollow echo, as if it was coming from an unfathomable distance. A chill ran down Carter's spine. He froze as the lantern flickered violently before plunging him into darkness. The terror takes shape. The next morning, Carter and Jackson returned to the dig site, determination masked by anxiety. Yet the scene before them changed everything. Footprints marred the ground, human, but deformed, as if something had walked in circles around their camp all night. "We have to leave, Professor," Jackson said, trembling, his eyes wide with fear. "No," Carter insisted, his voice firm. "Not until I understand what this whistle means." That night, with a heavy heart and a restless mind, Carter raised the whistle to his lips once more. This time a sound emerged, a deep, guttural noise that resonated through the trees, sending shivers down Jackson's spine. Suddenly the trees bent, and something enormous moved in the shadows. "God, Professor, run!" Jackson screamed, his voice cracking with terror. But Carter stood rooted in place, his eyes glazed as if he were entranced. His lips moved silently, responding to a voice only he could hear.
The conclusion. Days later, the camp was abandoned. Jackson was found alone, delirious and haunted, rambling about shadows and whispers. Carter, however, was never found. The mountains held their secrets close, and though search parties scoured the area, it was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. Sometimes, when the wind howled through the mountain passes, a distant muffled whistle could be heard, echoing through the valleys, as if someone or something were calling for someone else. And in the darkest corners of history, the whistle of the dead continued to resonate, a chilling reminder of the past that should have remained buried.